Like many people, I thought that Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter would usher in a new era of free speech online. Perhaps not. On July 8th, I was scrolling on Twitter when I found this on my feed. I could no longer follow or post anything. I had received no notifications, warnings, or explanations. I immediately submitted an appeal asking what I did wrong. I got an automatic response. All further appeals got the exact same automatic response. I can only assume that it was my most recent tweet that got me in trouble. The backstory for this tweet is the following. Two of my favorite speakers are Peter Zion and Patrick Bet-David. Peter frequently opines about the situation in Ukraine, the ebbs and flows of the battlefront, and the atrocities committed by the Russians. Peter has also endured an onslaught against him of Russian bots online. Then, on June 29th, Patrick Bet-David had Colonel Douglas Macgregor on his podcast. The colonel said many things that make me curious if he should be registering himself as a foreign agent. The colonel said that the Russians are being gentle. All war crimes are being made up by the Biden administration. And when Patrick Bet-David brought up well-documented statistics, he disregarded them as BS. Macgregor has a history of prematurely saying that Ukraine is doomed. On February 27, 2022,
the battle in eastern Ukraine is really almost over. All the Ukrainian troops there have been largely surrounded and cut off. You have a concentration down in the southeast of 30 to 40,000 of them. And if they don't surrender within the next 24 hours, I suspect that the Russians will ultimately annihilate them.
He has been repeating similar lines throughout the war. His comments on the PBD podcast made my skin crawl. But I listened to the entire thing because I wanted to see where Peter might be wrong. To be fair, Peter has been prematurely saying that China is doomed. He predicted that I would say we expect the economic collapse of China in this coming decade. Unfortunately, he said this 13 years ago, and he says the exact same line every chance he gets today. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be amazing to see Peter and the colonel debate their differences? Maybe the people I listen to are wrong, and then I can learn. Or maybe Peter would expose the colonel as a Putin apologist. So I suggested this on the June 29th podcast.
But he asked the question about, Colonel, would you be willing to return to the PBD podcast and debate someone like a Peter Zeihan who disagrees with you?
Would I be willing to do that? Sure, I can. If people think that would be useful.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll reach out to Peter, Rob, if you want to make a note of that to see if that's something, because I think that would be definitely. He has certain views that are very different than yours. The audience will be able to win there.
Then, on July 3rd, I spoke on the phone with PBD. We discussed my suggestion, and he said that Peter hadn't responded yet, and he asked me to tweet at Peter. Now we've come full circle. Now you may say that obviously writing that I'm not a Russian bot would make people suspicious. Maybe, but I was just saying what I truly thought. Or, as Elon would put it a few days later, I was being my true self. Tell me what you think. Comment below if you agree that terrorists and totalitarian regimes deserve to be on Twitter, but I don't. If you think my account should be restored, comment your support and share this video. I hope that if it gets enough eyeballs that things will get better. Perhaps we will need to create a community devoted to free speech. A legion, if you will. If you wish to join the Free Speech Legion, please subscribe.